So this personal finance expert, junkie, lover, whatever you want to call me, financial education instructor, tried Afterpay. Keep watching for my thoughts. Hi, I'm Elena of Financialdemics, where I give you the tips and tools to manage your money, increase your savings and your income, and decrease your debt. And yes, I tried Afterpay. So today I'm giving you a review of Afterpay based on my personal experience. So how did we get here? Basically, I was having a conversation with a friend who was asking me what my thoughts on Afterpay was. And I was telling that friend that, I'm not really a fan. And it has nothing to do with Afterpay in general, but the thought of adding another bill, I don't like bills. So why would I want to do that? I'm the type of person who likes to make one purchase, be done with it, and move on. But because of the conversation I was having with the friend, I told that friend that I would actually check it out since I was about to make a purchase anyway of some items. I knew where I was making the purchase does actually offer Afterpay. So I said, okay, let's try it out. I will, say that I'm going to do Afterpay. And so before we even talk about, my full thoughts, let's talk about what Afterpay is, just in case you don't know what it is. Afterpay actually allows you to make 4 payments for your purchase instead of paying for that purchase completely up front. And with the way that their business model is set up, this is actually free if you pay on time. So there's no interest or fees as long as you make sure the money's there when they're trying to get the money and make sure it's paid on time. Based on the verbiage on their website, their whole business model is set up where you're able to spend responsibly without, going into debt. That is their biggest thing, even though they're offering credit. But the whole thought process behind it is to allow their customers to maintain some type of financial wellness while still allowing them to get the items that they want and or need. So in a way, I kind of get that. I get the whole balance because I do believe in a balance when it comes to your finances. And I do believe there are people who cannot be put in a box where it's continuously strict. I do believe in, living life and keeping your finances intact at the same time. So I get the idea that they're coming from with this particular product. And I feel like I should talk about the fees and how those are structured. So in reference to how Afterpay makes their money, because of course that was something that I wanted to know, the majority of their fees actually comes from the merchant. So they actually charge the merchant a fee for using their services. And then they also have fees if you do not pay as the customer on time. So the thing about Afterpay is you have to pay on time, okay? Just like anyone else. So the only time that they will actually charge you a fee is if you are late with your payment or if they go to pull your payment and the money is not there. Usually they said that fee is no more than 25% of your total purchase, and you're only going to be charged that fee one time per installment. So that's how they have the fees set up according to their website. Now, one thing I did notice that they actually allow you to do is that if you know like you're not going to have the money, you can actually reach out to them and basically let them know when you'll be able to make the payment and be able to schedule that payment, which is a flexibility that is not always taken advantage of and a flexibility that not all companies have available. So they do give you a little bit of leeway when it comes to making your payment. But one thing they do that I think is quite interesting is that they actually will not allow you to continue to use your Afterpay account once you miss a payment. So you can't miss a payment and still be racking up debt with them. They will actually not allow you to use the account until you actually make your payment. And another thing that I almost forgot to mention is they do give you a grace period before that late payment is charged. So you have like 10 days to make that payment before they actually charge the late payment fee. So again, if you didn't have the payment, call those people or reach out online. I know you can log into your account and move your payment date and all of that. Do whatever you need to do if you have used them or are using them and you don't have the money for your payment. So let's talk about my experience. So when I originally made my purchase, I think it was somewhere around like $100 and something. They originally charged me 1/4 of the payment. They don't do a credit check with Afterpay, but I do feel like they do something, whether it's a soft credit check or not. I did not get an alert that a credit check was done, which I get an alert every time one is done. But I do know of people who said that like when they tried to do Afterpay, they wouldn't grant them the credit. Now, once I made my payment, they basically told me that every 2 weeks they will automatically drafting the payment from the actual account that I use. They did not tell me how much they actually granted me in credit. So truthfully, when I started out the process, I really just thought that they just basically granted me this I want to say it was like $130. Within the same day, I got the terms, and I will tell you I might have missed how much they had granted me in the terms. What I looked up was to make sure that I wasn't going to get any interest. I already known from the math, from what they said, that I wasn't going to be paying interest if I paid on time. So they sent me an email to confirm. They sent me a text message to confirm, which I actually like that aspect of it, just because we know how we are as people on the go. We're always going to be like doing stuff, and so if a text message comes to our phone though, you're going to read the text message, hopefully. So I like that they had sent me a text message basically saying that I opted into text messages and that they were basically going to remind me when payments were going to be pulled. About a few days before my first payment was going to be withdrawn from my account, and I want to say it was probably more than a few days. It was probably like 5 days. They sent me a text giving me a heads up, basically saying, hey, this payment of this amount is going to come out on this day. Please prepare for this payment. Please let us know if you are not able to make the payment. I'll probably post a text message somewhere if I still have it. Hopefully I still have it. And so you could see what that text looked like. I was a little slightly annoyed. But again, this has nothing to do with Afterpay itself. It's completely me. And remember, I don't like paying bills. So the fact I knew the money was coming out, the money was there, I was mad I was still paying for the purchase. Once I got a reminder on the third payment, I actually logged into the Afterpay account. Like I figured out how to log in. And this is where I realized that you could make payments early. So even if you maybe didn't have the money at the time, you can actually go in and pay off your Afterpay purchases early, which I thought was a really cool feature. By going into the account, that you could do things such as change your banking information. So if you want them to pull from a different account and not the account that you originally made the purchase with, you can go in and manage that on the account. It actually told what my credit limit was, which was pretty cool because I didn't even know. So I realized I actually had like a pretty decent Afterpay credit limit, but I was very impressed with the fact that you could log in and do things early and not necessarily have to talk to the Afterpay people, because you know, if I can do my business online, I'm doing it online. When they took the last payment, they basically let me know it was the last payment. Now, I did this process a while ago, and I'm really just getting to the point of recording this video because I was really trying to decide what was the angle I wanted to come from. Really, I'm just going to talk about the pros and cons of it, and then you decide what you want to do with that information. So one thing I really like about Afterpay is I do like the fact, or their idea, even though I still think like you are basically like granting credit, but I do like the idea of trying to keep a balance with people getting the things they want and need and not spending all their money at one time or putting themselves in a dire situation. I like the fact that you can pay it off quickly. They have an easy to use system. It's not janky. I don't like websites that are not together. I also like the fact that you can get what you need without necessarily having the money at the moment. Sometimes people forget that we're human and things happen sometimes all at the same time. And so there may be situations that you get into where, like, I don't know, like the car breaks down and the kid needs a new something. And if you got a boy, I don't know about you, but there's a few lost coats I had to replace in a day. Especially during the winter with my kid, because boys leave things. So, I completely get the thought process. I think it allows you to get what you need when you need it and pay it later in a way that is more affordable to you. Here are some things that concern me. I don't like that they're basically saying that your late fee is going to be no more than 25% of your initial purchase. Like, no more. Like, what is the fee? I like direct numbers. I think it's important to anyone who's doing business with a company to know exactly what that late fee is. I also feel like these cons are more so dealing with you as a consumer, not Afterpay itself. If you don't have the money, you need to contact them, because what you don't want to happen is they go to pull the money, it's not there, you're charged it's non-sufficient funds fee by your bank, then you're also charged a fee by Afterpay. Now, granted, the Afterpay fee is once, but who wants to get charged 2 times from 2 different places? So you need to be ready to communicate if you don't have the money. And then also you need to be disciplined, because when looking at how much Afterpay gave me to spend, if I was back in the day, Elena, I probably would have spent that whole amount, and I cannot imagine having those payments come out. And remember, they're doing it over what? They say 4 payments is every 2 weeks. So this is what, 2 months, 8 weeks. So 2 months of all of these different payments coming out of my account. Like, I just, I can't see it. But you would have to be disciplined if you were using that particular service. Just so that you're not putting yourself in a position where you are constantly making all these payments, and that might start to affect your other bills. So that's something that you might want to keep in mind when using Afterpay. I'll also say that Afterpay does not help your credit at all. Remember, they don't do a credit check. Basically, the only time that Afterpay is going to show up on your credit is if you don't pay them people. So there's no positive aspect of it of helping your credit. And I can talk about credit more later. If that's something you want me to talk about more, just let me know in the comments below. But what I will say is, like I said, that discipline is going to be important, so you're not paying extra if you don't have to. And I think the last thing that I can say about Afterpay, I can see some of the advantages of it. I was looking very hard at their website, really just trying to figure out, like, why would a person need to use Afterpay? And a few ideas did come to mind, and then my kid even gave me an idea recently in general conversation. So definitely, if your kid hits a growth spurt, if you have kids, you know how it is, and maybe you are in the process of trying to get your money together and whatever, and this was not a good time, then maybe you use Afterpay, or maybe you buy clothes over time. But depending on, maybe you use Afterpay for that because it'll give you a chance to make those payments, and you can afford like $50 every paycheck, and maybe you do it that way. So that's one reason. Another reason, if like you've been looking for a job, times is hard and you can't necessarily afford to get that new interview outfit or things like that, then maybe you use Afterpay to get you a nice suit or whatever you feel is needed to be worn to this interview. Also, I already mentioned it, but like I said, kids, boy, they lose things and you need them. Maybe you use Afterpay, because I do know you can use Afterpay in some stores. And then lastly, my kid told me, and it's not Afterpay who's doing this, maybe they'll jump on the bandwagon. I think he mentioned is Klarna. Like, you can purchase plane tickets using Klarna. If you are having like an emergency situation, like I live far from family, and if you didn't have the money for whatever reason, whatever is happening, and you needed to get down there in an emergency, being able to purchase a plane ticket and pay for it over time, and long as it's affordable for you, it might be a reason why you would use Afterpay. Now, you know, your girl is going to tell you that I'm gonna need you to get your savings up and things like that too, so that these situations don't happen as often. But if you need to use it, I can see those are some reasons why you would. In the comments below, let me know if you want me to talk more about credit, and I will talk a little bit more about that. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up so that it gets out to more people. And if you are not subscribed to this channel, I talk all about personal finance and way to get your money together, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss another video. And if you are looking for more money management tips, then go ahead and check out this video right here, and I'll see you next time.